Item number 5, public input. I have received 3 requests. One was declined in regard to damage from traffic vibration on the basis that this issue falls under Auckland Transport, who will respond to that issue. I have a withdrawn request from the Arts Council of New Zealand and a request that I have accepted, which is from the Auckland Regional Amenities Board. I spent some time on the phone yesterday and the day before to our ARAFA funding board and the Regional Amenity Board members, and I want, before inviting Matt and Barbara to speak, to acknowledge their cooperation and their support for Council as we seek to tackle the challenge of finding some hundreds of millions of dollars in lost revenue, which means that we cannot spend in the coming financial year what we would like to have spent and what we were planning to spend. So if I can just check first of all, Matt and Barb, are you both on the line?
Morena, yes.
Morena, yes, I am too.
Great. Well, thank you to both of you, and I'm not sure how you might want to divide up the 5 minutes between you, but I'll leave that up to you. There'll be 5 minutes for the presentation of your submission, and then maybe up to 3 questions from councillors if required. And I just need to advise councillors before inviting you to start, Fesso Collins is now on the line, and Wayne should be on the line by phone now. So I think we have everybody here. So thank you very much, Phil, for your efforts there. Matt and Barb, the floor is yours.
Akamaria, elected members and council officers, thank you for the time today. The collective amenities funded under the Auckland Regional Funding Act, and I'll continue.
Matt, we're having trouble hearing. Can I suggest maybe you turn your video off and see if that works for you?
How's that coming through now?
That's much better. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the time today. The collective amenities funded under the Auckland Regional Amenities Funding Act would like to take the opportunity to update funders on our continued delivery of services, impact and outcomes during these imperfect times. Like many organisations, the impact of COVID-19 has hit hard, imposing complete revisions of current plans and operations and halting the delivery of outcomes and events many have spent years working on. In concert with these operational challenges has come the need to reorientate our financial direction, with key funders, funding sources and entire funding models rendered OTOs. Current reserves, which have historically been critical, now being vital to the ongoing core operations in this volatile funding environment. These are not unique challenges, however, and many years of prudent business planning, adept analysis of current and short-term changes, and an agile response by amenities and their governors have ensured respective, resilient, and still able to deliver impact in the imperfect near term. What remains in certain times is our continued importance to the lives of all Aucklanders, and we have each been provided a unique opportunity as amenities and a privileged opportunity or catalyst to engage with Auckland at a personal level in their homes, continuing to support and enrich their lives at a time when it is most appreciated and needed. This has meant significant pivots by the amenities to advance or create digital strategies and engagements that will continue to serve us well into the future, and a proven capacity to reach literally hundreds of thousands of Aucklanders despite COVID-19 level 4 and level 3 restrictions. This is a success in itself and continues to show how determined we are to continue to remain accessible, relevant and vibrant to our city, and to ensure ARAFA levied funds continue to be well utilised, improving Auckland and the lives of its respective communities.
The amenities are all so different, and the pandemic has affected us all in different ways. But for all of us who have audiences as such, we've been really heartened by the warmth of response and the depth of engagement from people far and wide. As one example of how APO has increased its digital reach during this time to compensate for the fact that we've been unable to be in the concert hall, we've been restreaming previous performances, We've had musicians recording themselves in their living rooms, forming virtual ensembles with colleagues across the city and making programs to keep the kids entertained, making instruments, interacting with puppets to learn about music and much more. Unbelievably, well, it was unbelievable to us, but we've checked it and it's true. We've reached over almost 800,000 in Auckland and globally, and that's just in the last 4 weeks. I know my colleagues in the Opera, the Arts Festival and ATC are similarly working hard to do as much as possible in the digital space and stay connected. What the pandemic has shown us above all is that the amenities are reaching into the hearts of Aucklanders. If ever we needed proof of our relevance, COVID-19 has given us that at least. We really appreciate Council's consideration to keep letting us make a positive difference to people's quality of life and well-being. And again, especially at the moment, we really couldn't be doing it without you. So thank you very much to all of you for your consideration.
Thank you very much, both Matt and Barb, for that introduction, but more widely, thank you for the services and the richness that all of you impart to Auckland as a city and a community. We absolutely acknowledge the work that you do, and we acknowledge, Barb, in particular, that I know in previous presentations you've indicated that your members are skilled performers but paid at a very low level. We hope to be able to address that this year, but because of the change in circumstances we haven't been able to. And to congratulate you for 800,000 as a digital audience over 4 weeks. That's a fantastic achievement. Right, so I'll open it up for questions. Any councillor that has a question of Matt or Barb or both, please indicate to me.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Linda Cooper.
Linda, first question.
Thank you. And I would just want to acknowledge Matt and Barbara and the work you've been doing in the community. My question is for Matt, because as we come into level 3, people will be allowed to swim again. And even though it's getting colder, people have been hanging out to do that. I look at the amount that you will increase, you'll get 120,000, which seems a very small amount compared to a lot of the other amenities. Is that going to, are you going to have the capability and capacity to do that once we go into level 3?
Look, that's a really salient, Councillor Cooper. On the proposal from Council, which we have accepted, there'll actually be no increase to funding. So we will have the same amount of funding as last year, which look, we're very pleased with in this environment, but there will be no increase. That's forcing us to now rely more on our reserves as Class 4 funding has also reduced and other gaming partners. And we will really be focusing on what core business looks like for us this year, how to continue serving our membership and our clubs, how to continue being agile in our response to life-saving services in a COVID environment where lifeguards now cannot cohabitate at a surf club or stay at a surf club, where we know more people will be using the beach as local domestic tourism increases. So we're really going to be pushed to do more with less, but it's a challenge we're up for. We've been through 100 years as an organisation, world wars, pandemics and depressions before, so we believe with our continued support of Council and the volunteers, we'll rise to the challenge.
Thank you, Matt, and thank you to your volunteers.
Yeah, thank you very much, Matt, and I'll join Linda in thanking you for the work that your organisation and members and volunteers do. Are there further questions from councillors?
Yeah, I've got a question, Phil.
Councillor Casey, Kathy Casey. Yep, go ahead, Kathy.
Barbara, of that 800,000, how many of those were children?
Morena, Kathy, it's difficult to tell. We have got breakdowns by programs. I don't have them at my fingertip, but several thousand of them are children looking at our puppet shows and learning about how to make an instrument out of, shakers with rice and bits of old toilet roll and all of the things that people have abundantly in their homes at the moment. So yeah, it is a good spread. There's been a huge take up of our re-streams that we're doing of our concerts, but equally a very satisfying and very satisfactory engagement that's, I think, much more local actually rather than international with our children's programs.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Barb. Are there any further questions? room for one more question if there is one? If not, I will move and ask for a seconder.
I'll second, Your Worship.
Thank you. That's, sorry,
Desley.
Desley. So moved Phil Goff, seconded Desley Simpson, that we thank both Barb and Matt for their attendance and their public input, which we have received. And I think, well, it's not formally in the resolution, to thank both of you more widely and the other members of the Amenities Board for your service on behalf of the whole community of our city. I'll put that resolution. All those in favour, please say aye.
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 To the contrary, no. I'll declare that carried unanimously. Thank you very much, Matt and Barb, and thank you for making yourselves available today.